The world does not reward intention. It rewards execution. It has no interest in how moral you are, how patient you have been, or how unfair your starting point feels. It responds only to consistent pressure applied without emotion, without excuses, without delay. Most people are not losing because the system is broken. They are losing because they refuse to engage with reality as it exists. They demand comfort while asking for progress. They want influence without responsibility, respect without proof, victory without sacrifice. History has never honored such demands. Power is not noisy. It is quiet, calculated, and often misunderstood. It is built in isolation, sharpened through discomfort, and protected by discipline. Those who possess it rarely explain themselves. Those who lack it endlessly justify themselves. This is not a guide for the virtuous. Virtue without leverage is decoration. This is a manual for those tired of pretending softness will be rewarded, that patience alone will save them, or that time favors the hesitant. Time favors those who move. Every advantage you admire in others was purchased with something most people refuse to pay: pain, repetition, rejection, and sustained effort long after motivation disappeared. There is no shortcut around this exchange. There never has been. These principles are not designed to inspire you. Inspiration fades. They are designed to harden you, strip illusions, remove comforting stories, and expose mediocrity. Clarity is dangerous because once you see the rules, you can no longer pretend ignorance. You will either act or consciously remain where you are. Machiavelli understood a truth that still unsettles people: outcomes justify methods, and reality does not negotiate with ideals. If this offends you, stop here. If it sharpens you, continue. What follows are not opinions or motivation. They are laws. Apply them and you gain leverage. Ignore them and they will still operate against you. Truth: one pain is the price of power. Progress is never gentle. Anyone claiming otherwise is either lying or selling comfort. Growth is aggressive by nature. It stretches you past tolerance and forces adaptation or collapse. This is not a defect of the system. This is the system. Every form of power demands payment, and the currency is pain. Strength requires damage and repair. Authority requires conflict. Wealth requires uncertainty and prolonged pressure. There is no advancement without upfront cost. You either pay deliberately and call it discipline, or you resist and call it suffering. Pain is often mistaken as a warning sign. In reality, it is frequently proof that something is working. Discomfort marks expansion. Remove pain and you remove growth. Comfort is the silent killer of ambition. It dulls urgency, delays action, and convinces you tomorrow is guaranteed. Powerful individuals learn to interpret pain as data, not drama. They do not worship it, but they do not avoid it. Weakness is not feeling pain. Weakness is designing your life to escape it. If you want ease, accept stagnation. If you want progress, accept discomfort as the entry fee. Truth: to be content, never satisfied. Peace is internal. Complacency is strategic suicide. You may enjoy your life, but you are not allowed to conclude you are finished. Satisfaction is the moment pressure stops being applied to your potential. From that moment, decline begins quietly. Those who rise understand a paradox: fulfillment comes from effort, not arrival. Goals are tools to force growth, not places to rest. Once transformation happens, the achievement itself feels secondary. Disciplined people appear restless because they refuse to fossilize. The moment satisfaction sets in, momentum leaks. Momentum is fragile. Losing it once costs 10 times the energy to rebuild. Satisfaction whispers, "You deserve rest." Reality replies, "Someone else is still moving." While you pause, others compound. While you celebrate, standards rise. The world does not pause for gratitude ceremonies. True contentment comes from operating at your edge, not believing you've reached it. Appreciate the view, don't unpack. Truth 3. Ignore critics or be ruled by them. The average person has no incentive to see you succeed. Your progress highlights their hesitation. Your ambition exposes their fear. Their advice is rarely cruel, but almost always self-protective. Criticism is the currency of the uncommitted. Those who have risked nothing speak most confidently about caution. They disguise fear as wisdom and call stagnation maturity. Notice the pattern: the loudest critics are always farthest from the arena. If you allow unqualified voices to influence your decisions, you surrender your future to people who will never bear its consequences. This is voluntary obedience. Exceptional outcomes demand behavior that appears irrational to ordinary observers. The moment you step outside the average will attempt to pull you back, not because you are wrong, but because your deviation threatens their comfort story. Your progress exposes their stagnation as choice, not circumstance. There is a simple filter that removes confusion. Take guidance only from those who have built what you are trying to build. Emotional closeness is irrelevant. Proximity to results is everything. Critics age, fade, and disappear. Their opinions expire faster than the decisions they tried to block. Regret, however, outlives you. At the end of your life, the voices that mattered were never the ones urging caution. Ignore critics not from ego, but from precision. Attention is a weapon. Invest it only where it multiplies. If you do not choose whose voice shapes you, the loudest one will, and it is rarely the wisest. Truth 4. Power is created by elimination, not accumulation. Most people believe productivity means doing more. This belief keeps them weak. Power comes from subtraction, from aggressively removing anything that does not directly serve the objective. Commitment is not motivation. Commitment is the demolition of alternatives. The moment multiple exits remain open, none will ever be fully crossed. Focus is not intensity. Focus is scarcity, the starvation of everything except what matters most. Mediocrity often disguises itself as optionality. People call it flexibility. In reality, it is indecision wearing intelligence as camouflage. They sample endlessly, experiment forever, and wonder why nothing compounds. Compounding requires containment. Pressure only builds in sealed systems. Every extraordinary outcome is the result of sustained attention applied in one direction for an unreasonable length of time. Direction matters less than consistency. Mastery is not found by discovering the perfect plan. It is forged by refusing to abandon an imperfect one. Distraction is not random. It is environmental. If interruption is allowed, it will happen. If escape exists, it will be taken. Remove noise. Remove access. Remove alternatives. The fewer options you permit yourself, the more force you generate in the one you choose. Power belongs to those who say no without apology. Every yes extracts a cost. Most people leak strength through polite compliance and unnecessary commitments. They confuse availability with virtue. History remembers outcomes, not responsiveness. Choose one road and burn the others. That is focus. Truth 5. Fear must answer to regret. Fear never disappears. Experience does not eliminate it. Courage does not erase it. The difference between the strong and the weak is not the presence of fear, but which fear commands them. Two fears dominate human behavior: fear of rejection and fear of regret. You will serve one. Fear of rejection makes you compliant, agreeable, invisible. It teaches you to confuse approval with safety. Fear of regret does the opposite. It forces movement before certainty. It pushes risk before comfort. Those who rise fear future shame more than present embarrassment. They understand rejection bruises the ego temporarily, while regret corrodes the soul permanently. Rejection fades. Regret compounds. Indecision often masquerades as prudence, but it is usually fear in formal clothing. The longer action is delayed after clarity. The weaker the individual becomes. Power can be measured in speed. Those who act decisively dominate, those who hesitate elegantly. Most fears exist only in imagination. When examined closely, they collapse. What actually happens when you fail? You lose status. You feel embarrassment. You gain information. You continue. These are survivable outcomes. What is not survivable is the slow suffocation of unrealized potential. The powerful rehearse failure deliberately. They strip catastrophe of its illusion. Once the worst case is faced and found tolerable, fear loses authority. Action becomes automatic. Do not wait for fear to vanish, it never will. Elevate regret above fear and let it pull you forward. The future belongs to those who prefer rejection today over shame tomorrow. Truth 6. Persistence manufactures timing. Timing is the excuse of the inactive. Preparation is the weapon of the relentless. There is no perfect moment, only readiness colliding with opportunity. Those obsessed with timing attempt to arrive when conditions look ideal. Those obsessed with persistence ensure they are always present when opportunity appears. The world does not reward those who wait. It rewards those who endure. Most opportunities are invisible to the unskilled. Skill sharpens perception. The more capable you become, the more doors you notice. What outsiders call luck is usually preparation extended over time. Those who quit early believe they were unlucky. Those who persist long enough realize opportunity cycles, but only for those still standing. Consistency is unglamorous. It is repetitive, dull, and unrewarded for long stretches. That is why it works. Most people cannot tolerate effort without applause. Those who can inherit disproportionate returns. The individual who never stops removes the need for timing entirely. When effort is continuous, readiness is guaranteed. When readiness is guaranteed, opportunity cannot be missed. Persistence compresses randomness into inevitability. Waiting for conditions to improve misunderstands progress. Conditions improve after movement, not before it. Motion clarifies, stillness distorts. Do not ask when to begin. Begin, and time will bend around you. Endure long enough and the world will meet you halfway. Truth 7. Envy is wasted energy. Effort is a weapon. Envy is one of the most expensive habits a person can maintain. It drains attention, corrupts perception, and produces nothing. Those who indulge in it believe they are observing others, when in reality they are hollowing themselves out. Most envy outcomes without honoring inputs. They compare their starting line to someone else's midpoint and call the difference injustice. This lie is comforting because it removes responsibility. Envy feels active, but it is passive decay. It creates the illusion of engagement while preventing movement. The mind becomes busy tearing others down instead of building itself up. This is why envy is seductive. It requires no exposure, no risk, no accountability. Effort, by contrast, is brutal. It demands repetition when progress is invisible. It demands humility in the presence of incompetence. It demands obsession with your own weaknesses rather than someone else's achievements. That is why most avoid it. The strongest advantage you can develop is indifference to comparison. Others winning does not shrink you. Others losing does not elevate you. Your position is determined only by distance traveled from who you were yesterday. Those who dominate understand a quiet truth. You do not win by defeating competitors. You win by outgrowing them until they become irrelevant. While others track rivals, the disciplined track improvement. One creates noise, the other creates inevitability. Redirect envy inward. Use it as proof of desire. Convert desire into labor. When envy becomes effort, poison becomes fuel. Truth 8. Difficult conversations guard power. Everything you want is protected by discomfort. The greater the reward, the harder the conversation required to reach it. Most people repeat the same year of their life indefinitely because they avoid confrontation. They tolerate misalignment, underperformance, and resentment because short-term comfort feels safer than short-term pain. In doing so, they lock themselves into long-term dissatisfaction. Hard conversations expose truth. Truth reshapes hierarchies. This is why they are avoided. Speaking clearly risks conflict and disapproval. Remaining silent risks stagnation. Powerful individuals do not enjoy these conversations, they prioritize them. Delay compounds damage. The longer truth is withheld, the more destructive its release becomes. Addressing issues early is not kindness. It is efficiency. Short pain prevents long pain. Avoidance does not remove consequence, it multiplies it. What begins as discomfort becomes regret if ignored. Those who advance act immediately once clarity appears. The moment you know a conversation must happen is the moment it is already late. Hesitation is the tax you pay for wanting approval. Living with unresolved tension erodes confidence and trains you to accept smallness as normal. Speak early. Speak cleanly. Speak without apology. The future belongs to those willing to exchange short-term discomfort for permanent leverage. Truth 9. Endurance is the force that makes every other strength usable. Talent without endurance is ornament. Intelligence without endurance is dormant potential. Vision without endurance is imagination without execution. Endurance is invisible. It does not announce itself or demand recognition. It is the ability to remain operational under sustained pressure after enthusiasm has burned out. This is what separates finishers from dreamers. Most people fail not because the task is impossible, but because it outlasts their patience. They misjudge time and overestimate motivation. When novelty fades and resistance appears, they interpret discomfort as a signal to quit. Those who endure do not debate fairness. They calculate requirements. Constraint forces invention. Scarcity sharpens judgment. Pressure reveals capacity. Placing yourself in environments where retreat is impossible accelerates transformation. When exit disappears, adaptation becomes mandatory. Comfort is dangerous because it offers escape routes. Endurance closes them. History is filled with individuals who survived conditions far harsher than modern inconvenience. Not because they were exceptional, but because quitting was not an option. When the choice is persist or disappear, endurance emerges naturally. Cultivate this deliberately. Choose commitments that require consistency. Accept responsibilities that demand growth. Remove safety nets that encourage hesitation. You will discover reserves of capacity you never knew existed. Endurance is the quiet engine that converts pressure into power. Develop it and time becomes an ally. Without it, every advantage collapses under stress. Those who endure will always outlast those who merely feel inspired. Truth 10. Results are the only currency that holds value. Excuses are attractive because they are often legitimate. Circumstances can be unfair. Starting positions can be unequal. Burdens can be real. None of this alters outcome. Reality does not reward explanation. It recognizes only results. Many people secretly seek permission to remain average. Excuses provide that permission. They soften the internal discomfort of knowing more was possible and rename avoidance as self-compassion. Here is the blunt truth. It may not be your fault, but it is still your responsibility. Life does not pause to investigate blame. It continues, carrying consequences forward. Those who accept responsibility gain leverage. Those who avoid it surrender control. Results create authority. Authority silences debate. No narrative competes with evidence. There is a dangerous phrase people comfort themselves with: "I did my best." Best is subjective. Requirements are not. The world responds to what is required, not what feels sufficient. What is required often exceeds current capacity. That is not injustice, it is a summons to expand. Those who win operate under one command: do what is required, not what is comfortable, not what is fair, not what earns sympathy, what is required. Over time, this standard reshapes identity, capability grows, results compound, respect follows outcomes, never intention. Accept this early and you stop negotiating with yourself. Truth 11. The hard path is the only one that produces results. People waste years searching for shortcuts to destinations that have none. They confuse efficiency with avoidance. The irony is cruel. The time spent hunting for the easy way almost always exceeds the time required to walk the difficult one. Shortcuts exist only until everyone uses them. Once discovered, they become baseline. What remains difficult is what most avoid, and that avoidance preserves its value. Hard does not arrive as one dramatic challenge. It arrives as accumulation. Small sacrifices repeated daily, dull discipline applied without applause, the monotony of showing up when nothing exciting happens. This is the real texture of difficulty. What people often label as hard is simply unfamiliar. When new resistance appears, they panic and assume something is wrong. In reality, they have reached the next layer. Difficulty evolves as you evolve. There are many forms of hard: sacrifice, risk, uncertainty, discipline, but they all serve the same function. They filter the unwilling. Those who create disproportionate outcomes are not immune to hardship. They are fluent in it. They recognize it quickly, stop negotiating with it, and move forward anyway. The hard way works because it cannot be faked. It demands transformation, not tricks. Accept this early, and you bypass years of confusion. Resist it, and you pay interest in regret. Stop asking how to make it easier. Ask how to become stronger. The path does not soften, you do. Truth 12. Never surrender power through blame. Whatever you blame controls you. Whatever offends you commands your attention. Wherever you assign fault, you transfer authority. Blame feels relieving because it explains pain without demanding change. But explanation without action is paralysis disguised as insight. Every excuse reinforces the belief that control lives outside you. Many remain trapped not because they were harmed, but because they refuse to release the story of being harmed. They confuse suffering with leverage. In reality, it is a leash. Power begins when outcomes detach from explanations. You may be correct about what happened to you, and it still does not move you forward. Ownership does. The most dangerous transfer of power happens quietly when past events, other people, or unfair conditions dictate future behavior. At that point, you are no longer acting, you are reacting. Those who reclaim power stop narrating their wounds. They do not deny the past. They simply refuse to let it vote on their next move. Healing is not produced through explanation but through agency. Anger, resentment, and blame all share the same weakness. They outsource control. Release them not for moral reasons, but for strategic ones. A disciplined mind is a weapon. A reactive one is a liability. When you stop pointing outward, command returns. With command comes choice. With choice comes motion. With motion comes power. The world does not care why you were delayed. It responds only when you advance. Truth 13. Choose rejection now or regret forever. Everyone eventually reaches the same fork. One direction offers immediate discomfort and social risk. The other offers comfort now and quiet decay later. The difference between those who rise and those who disappear is which pain they select. Rejection is loud, visible, and temporary. Regret is silent, private, and permanent. Most people design their lives to avoid rejection. They dilute ambition, soften standards, and shrink goals to remain acceptable. They mistake approval for safety. In reality, approval is a cage built by consensus. Every meaningful pursuit requires exposure. Exposure invites rejection. If you are not being rejected, you are not attempting anything significant enough to matter. Rejection is not proof of failure, it is proof of participation. Beginners believe success comes from being chosen. Veterans understand it comes from choosing to persist after being dismissed. Greatness rejects first applicants deliberately. It filters out those who require encouragement to continue. Those who win fear regret more than embarrassment. They know no insult equals the weight of unrealized potential. The sting of rejection fades. The knowledge of never trying does not. If you cannot tolerate rejection today, you guarantee regret tomorrow. Regret tomorrow, and regret is the only failure that offers no second attempt. Truth 14. Consistency defeats talent every time. Talent is a multiplier. Consistency is the foundation. Without a foundation, the multiplier has nothing to amplify. The world is full of gifted individuals who never arrived because they relied on spikes of motivation instead of systems of execution. Motivation is unstable. It appears when conditions are easy and disappears under pressure. Consistency does not bargain. Most skills are not complicated, they are repetitive. The barrier is rarely intelligence. It is endurance. Doing the same action when progress is invisible, praise is absent, and boredom dominates is what eliminates the majority. 20 hours can make you functional at almost anything. 1 year of repetition can place you ahead of most people. The tragedy is that many delay beginning for years, waiting to feel prepared. Readiness is produced through repetition, not contemplation. Confidence is not built through affirmations. It is built through exposure. Repeated action trains the nervous system until fear loses intensity. What once triggered anxiety becomes routine. This is biology, not belief. Those who appear fearless are simply conditioned. They have performed the behavior so many times that the body no longer interprets it as danger. This is why practice is non-negotiable. You do not think your way into courage, you work your way into it. The world belongs to those who continue without immediate reward. Most quit because they mistake silence for failure. In reality, silence is the entry fee. Remain consistent long enough and talent becomes irrelevant. Persistence wears down resistance. Time submits to repetition. Truth 15. Shame is a mechanism designed to keep you small. If you want money, access, or leverage, shame must be eliminated. Shame is not morality, it is social control. Guilt comes from violating your own standards. Shame comes from violating someone else's. The real question is simple: whose approval governs your behavior? People remain stuck not because they lack capability, but because they refuse to ask. They will not knock, call, message, pitch, or follow up because they fear judgment. This fear is artificial. Doors do not open themselves. Action carries asymmetric risk. The worst outcome is rejection and learning. The best outcome is transformation. Over time, inaction always costs more than action. Those who succeed remove dignity from the equation. They trade ego for momentum. They accept awkwardness, embarrassment, and friction as tools, not threats. Shame is often enforced by those who benefit from your hesitation. When you pause, someone else advances. When you remain silent, someone else claims the opportunity. There is no neutral territory. The path forward is never fully visible. Clarity emerges only after movement begins. Waiting for certainty before acting is fantasy. Action creates clarity, not the reverse. Play the hand you were dealt. Unused advantages are indistinguishable from disadvantages. Others will rationalize your success if you achieve it and justify your failure if you do not. Their judgment is irrelevant either way. Do not wait to feel entitled. Act as if permission is unnecessary, because it is. These 15 truths are not philosophy. They are instruments. Use them and you gain leverage. Ignore them and they will still govern your environment. The choice is not whether these laws apply. The choice is whether they serve you or rule you. Power is never gifted. It is assumed, exercised, and defended. By the time permission arrives, the opportunity has already been taken by someone who did not wait. If these principles disturbed you, that is intentional. Comfort is the first illusion that must be dismantled. The world does not collapse when you abandon comfort. It sharpens. You begin to recognize who profits from your hesitation, who feeds on your fear, and who advances while you explain yourself. Most people will agree with these laws intellectually, then return to the behaviors that keep them small. They will rename discipline as extremism, consistency as obsession, and responsibility as cruelty toward themselves. This is how mediocrity protects its territory. It rebrands weakness as wisdom. Do not fall for it. You are not limited by lack of knowledge. You are limited by lack of execution. The gap between who you are and who you could become is not closed by insight, reflection, or intention. It is closed by repetition under pressure. There will be no signal that you are ready. No authority will certify your worthiness. The only proof that matters is motion, forward, imperfect, relentless motion. Understand this clearly. These laws operate whether you acknowledge them or not. They do not require belief. They enforce outcomes. You can align with them and compound advantage, or resist them and label the resistance fate. History remembers those who endure, not those who explain. Respect follows results, not effort. Regret waits patiently for anyone who confuses caution with intelligence. If you want to win, stop arguing with reality and start operating within it. Harden your standards. Narrow your focus. Eliminate excuses. Choose action over approval. This is not motivation, it is orientation. The world is already moving. Either you move deliberately, or you are carried without mercy. Choose.